book review, and if you liked Murder Most Unladylike, you're going to love this. This is a spin-off about her younger sister Hazel. It's brilliant. This is The Ministry of Unladylike Activity by Robin Stevens, and the strapline is, we went searching for a spy, we discovered a murder. So the blurb on the back says, my name is May Wong. This is the story of how we, Eric and Nuala and I, uncovered a Nazi spy in England, solved a murder and joined the Ministry of Unladylike Activity. It was much harder than I expected. We had to be very clever, and as usual, none of the grown-ups listened to us until it was almost too late. Grown-ups really are hopeless, but they're listening now, at last. So I really enjoyed reading this. My daughter and I have really liked this series. We do like a good little thriller, a murder, a mystery. So we had great fun reading this together, and not at the same time. She passes me things that she thinks I should like, which is great because it saves me time. And she also then ignores passing me things that she knows I won't like. So we enjoy being able to talk about these. And this series is actually one of the books and series that has inspired our trip to the Orient Express. So I'm going to let you know what I thought about this book. So I like the way that the characters have been embellished and used here. So you've got Fionnuala, otherwise known as Nuala, who's from Ireland. You've got Eric, who has escaped Germany during World War II. And then, of course, you've got May Wong. So May and Fionnuala immediately misunderstand each other and don't get on. Eric is really sweet and nice. He does whatever May tells him to do. He's quite submissive, and he tries to make May and Nuala get on and make friends and be nice to each other. And as they work on solving the murder, they do become more friendly. So it's really nice. I love the complexity of the relationship between them. I find it really interesting and just a really enjoyable read. When you do a spin-off, you can't always master the spin-off, but Robin certainly has. And I would say May is a little bit more like Daisy. She's nothing like her older sister Hazel. Hazel is quite nice and good and is now a spy agent. May is just menace. She's a little so-and-so. And she does things that are illegal, she breaks the rules, she sniffs out stuff in her sister agent's bag that she shouldn't, and she's just really naughty. And you got to love her for it. You know, she's just really cheeky and naughty, and is a rebel and a rule breaker, someone I like and can relate to. So I really do love this book. I enjoyed it. I would give it 4.5 to 5 stars. Only because it's probably just a little bit too sweet and nice for me sometimes, but I think it's a brilliant spin-off and I really enjoyed it. So if you like this series, and we've already done some reviews on the previous books from the other series before this spin-off, then please stay on and I'll read you an extract from chapter 1, and I think you'll really like it. Chapter 1. From the report of May Wong, WOE operative, 18th of December 1940. My name is May Wong. I am 10 years old, nearly 11. And I have become a spy in order to save the world. That is true and not an exaggeration. Anything can happen in a war, and anyone can be a hero. And anyone can be evil too. When the war began, I thought that Nazis might look like the lizards who used to bask on the steps of our big house back in Hong Kong. I imagined them with scaly, flickering skin and yellow eyes. I thought that being evil must make you look evil. But now that I'm older, I've realised that evil can look like anything. Evil can look like a starchy governess, or a kind old lady, or the warden who comes round to check the blackout. This is the story of how we uncovered a Nazi spy in England, solved a murder, and joined the Ministry of Unladylike Activity. It was much harder than I expected. We had to be very clever, and, as usual, none of the grown-ups listened to us until it was almost too late. Grown-ups really are hopeless, but they're listening now at last, and they want to know everything that happened. That's why I'm writing this. By the way, this is the official version of the notes I took during our mission. I'm supposed to be using formal language the way we're taught at school, but I've decided that this is my report and I'm going to tell it my own way, and that means explaining some things first. The most important thing to know about me, apart from the fact that I am now a spy, is that I'm not supposed to be in England at all. I'm supposed to be living in Hong Kong, where I was born, with my mother and my father and my little brother Teddy. But I came to England last year with father and my second sister Rose to visit Deepdean School for Girls, the stupid English boarding school that father planned for us to go to. And while we were here, the war began. Father went home as quick as he could to be with Mama and Teddy, but he left me trapped in England with Rose and my biggest sister Hazel. I can't go back to Hong Kong until the war ends, so obviously the only thing I can do is make sure it ends as quickly as possible. I miss Mama, and I miss Teddy, even though he's too small to be interesting. I think I even miss Father, although he was the reason I got stuck in England in the first place, and the reason I have to go to Deepdean, which I hate. Or at least I did go to Deepdean until I ran away to become a spy. I ran away because I had to. There was no other choice. Everyone in my family, including big sister Hazel, thinks that I'm a silly baby, but I'm not. The truth is that I can speak 2 entire languages and run for 10 minutes without stopping and lie well enough to trick father and the Deepdean mistresses. I can fight with a sword, or I could if someone would give me a real one. All I've practised with is a stick, and with my feet and my fists. So I was sure that I'd be an excellent spy if only someone would give me a chance. You see, I knew a spy already. Hazel. I'm absolutely not making that up, it's true. And it's hard when your sister has already done all the things you want to do. Hazel went to Deepdean once too, and she's famous there, even now that she's very old, 19. She loved school, and Rose, who is 12, loves it as well. So when I first decided I wanted to become a spy, I thought I had to love it too. I spent minutes and minutes on my school compositions, and I tried not to hit any of the other girls during games, and I even gave Marielle Semple my jam roly-poly pudding at dinner. I was sorry about that later. She didn't even finish it. What a waste of jam roly-poly. But it all just made me notice how much I hated school, even when I was trying. So I decided to become a spy another way. I asked Hazel how to do it, but she would never answer any of my questions. She wouldn't even admit she was a spy, even though it was perfectly obvious. And then I found the note in her handbag. Obviously it wasn't for me. I'm not stupid, and I shouldn't have been looking in Hazel's handbag in the first place. But I was bored, and I was cross, and sometimes I just do things without thinking about them. I only feel bad about them later. It happened like this. By September 1940, the war had been going on for a year, but you almost wouldn't know it living in Deepdean. Deepdean Park was full of sandbags. A bomb had fallen on the cinema by mistake. No one was hurt. And there was no cream on the cakes at the Willow Tree rooms or soap powder at our boarding house to wash with. I didn't care much about the soap, but I did about the cream. But that was really as far as it went. It wasn't at all like war in stories. The newsreels at the pictures of cities of Europe in Europe falling and German soldiers marching and shooting felt exciting, but nearly as made up as the main feature. It sounds strange that I know better, but I was almost disappointed. And then we began to hear stories about the Nazis crossing the channel to flatten us like a thumb squashing a bug. Planes buzzed overhead every night and every day. The invasion seemed closer and closer. So when Hazel came to Deepdean to take me and Rose out for tea, one weekend at the beginning of October, I decided I couldn't wait any longer. I asked Hazel about spying and what it felt like to be in the real air raid and how many people were dead in London and whether it was true that the Germans were about to invade, and if so, what were we going to do about it, until Rose got all wobbly and started to cry and Hazel told me to stop. Rose had to sit down on a bench in Deepdean High Street and put her head between her knees, hugging her gas mask case, while Hazel patted her back and gave her a bullseye to suck. Hazel always has sweets in her pocket, even now they're rationed. Spies get all the best things, another reason why I wanted to be one. It'll be all right, said Hazel, as a man in a Home Guard uniform walked by. No one will hurt you, Rose, I promise. We're prepared. We won't let them come here. I don't see how she could promise something like that. It sounded like a grown-up lie. I picked up her handbag to look for more sweets, but what I found instead was a note. It was scribbled all over, with crossings out, but circled at the bottom of it was a very simple message, underlined. Your attendance is required for training of the utmost importance. The Ministry, 13 Great Russell Street, London, 4 p.m, Saturday, 26th of October, 1940. This looked important. I shoved it in my pocket just as Hazel turned to look at me. Give me that, she said, and slid her handbag back onto her arm, so she hadn't noticed what I'd taken. Come on, who wants scones? I did, obviously, but more than that, I wanted to find out what that message meant. It was spy business. I was sure of it. I knew that this was my chance to find out what Hazel was really doing and help her do it. I just had to run away from school first. Really cool, right? So I hope you enjoy it. Have a great week ahead and highly recommend the series.